Your abundance is in escrow. It's coming. It's pending. But we just can't force it. If you keep showing up, you keep doing the watering, you keep doing the weeding, you keep taking care of your side of the street, taking care of your garden, nurturing your garden, you will experience that harvest. Control what you can control and surrender the rest. Hey sis, welcome to the Sisterhood Soul and Strategy Podcast, a space for women building businesses that feel as good as they look. I'm Steph, a small town girl from Wisconsin with big dreams to positively impact the world. This podcast is from the heart, where we share real conversations about building intentional businesses that thrive in every season. And the best part, we talk both soul and strategy, and we wrap it all up in sisterhood. Because let's be real, business is more fun in community. So no matter your age or stage of small business ownership, you stumbled upon this podcast for a reason. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Welcome back to the podcast. I am excited for this solo episode today because it's been a minute since I've done more of a kind of personal update episode, but I figured it's time. We just started the summer season and I want to kind of share this perspective that I have been witnessing in myself and my own experience, as well as other women, especially women around me, and especially entrepreneurs. And that is that we're kind of all on this edge of the next level, of the next abundance, the next version of ourselves. We're feeling the momentum. Most of us have felt it building all year. You know, we went through this like major shedding period in January and February. And then once spring hit, we started to feel this momentum. So I felt this in March and April and May as I hosted my Sister Circle Summit and I attended some other incredible events and I was making all these connections and I had a lot of deals in the works for real estate and just like all of these things, all this momentum, all this excitement, all of this energy. But yet there's still a lot of things that have not clicked together or come to fruition, even though I know they will. And I know that they literally on the other side of this kind of ledge that we're all on. And it's interesting because I've been playing this same sort of game in even like my personal life and my health journey. So I want to kind of tie it back to that, but it's like finding our edge and actually like playing with it and getting enjoyment out of testing ourselves. And instead of feeling the frustration that comes with, I'm standing on the ledge, I'm waiting for that next level, I'm ready to jump, but like things just are not happening right now. Instead of pushing ourselves and trying to force outcomes, it's like a preparation period. And it's a pushing ourselves, but not to the edge of burnout and not to the edge of that frustration that then hinders us from reaching our goals and what we're working towards in the first place. So to give you like a tangible example of this, a couple weeks ago, I felt called to go on a run with my dog Yuka. We love running together. She's like the only running partner that I want to run with. And I haven't really done a ton of running. I literally don't think I've ran since like last fall because winter. And then I was just busy. So I decided to go on a run with her and I was feeling so good. Like better than I thought that I would, especially in the first half. And then we were kind of making our way back in the second half of the run, and I started to feel like kind of a blister on my foot because I really need new running shoes, but I just kept pushing through. And then I was starting to hit that wall of like, I'm tired, but I'm just going to keep pushing through, right? So my mentality is always like, just keep pushing through. Instead of just staying with that pace though and finishing the run, I have a tendency to want to challenge myself anytime I'm doing something hard to almost push myself past the level of comfort, right? So The last stretch, I'm like, let's really push this. Let's really run hard. So we do, I'm yelling mush because I have a husky, and she knows the sled dog cues, and she's running hard and I'm running hard, and we finish this run really having pushed ourselves right at the end, like to the point where like my lungs were burning, right? And it's like that end period is when things get really, really hard right before we complete it. And I'm going to tie it back to business. So it's like right before we hit that next level of maybe it's like income or new clients, or we're scaling, we're growing the business. Right before we hit that next level, it gets really, really hard. And instead of sticking with our pace, often what we want to do is we want to actually force the outcome. We want to push ourselves even harder, because things maybe aren't feeling as good as they were the rest of the journey. So I see this happening for myself. I see it happening for other people, where it's like we're on the cusp of the next level, the next version, the next upgrade for our business, but we haven't hit it yet. And so instead of just maintaining that pace, maintaining the momentum, what we know to be true, we actually try to push ourselves even more. We think, oh, I need to work harder. I need to put my head down. I need to do more and work harder, just like I tried to do in this run. And what I ended up doing was actually pushing myself past where I needed to be to get to where I wanted to go. So after this run, I felt really good. And I was like, oh, this was, just what I needed. And then I had this adrenaline rush, right? And then I immediately, within an hour or two, started to get a debilitating migraine. Like I was in bed, eyes closed, could not function the rest of the day. And I was so frustrated because I was like, why does this always happen to me? This is actually a reoccurring pattern for me when I run or when I really push myself hard physically. And I feel that adrenaline rush. And then what happens is my body and my nervous system actually crashes if I don't do a proper cool down and come down off of that intensity in a sustainable way. Hey sis, it's Steph here, and I just want to interrupt this episode to ask you, if you're listening to this podcast and you have not stepped inside our community, what are you waiting for? What makes Sister Circle so special is that we have both virtual and in-person opportunities for not just connection, but growth and learning and implementation, and actually moving the needle in our business on the things that we know are going to make a difference. I want to invite you to join us inside our Circle community for 30 days for just $30 to really experience the energy, the community, and the strategy and all the resources that we have inside of our community. So you're going to get access to as many meetings that are happening in real time, in person, virtual. Really, truly, it's the connections to the women and the sisters inside this community that are priceless. Just join us for a full month to really get the full experience of what Sister Circle is all about. Click the link in the show notes to experience Sister Circle inside our community today. So not only do we tend to push ourselves past what we really need to be doing when we're reaching that finish line or that next level, but we also don't give ourselves proper recovery time when we are actually pushing ourselves physically or even mentally, or our nervous system, all of those things. And I experienced this in May and even this month of June, coming off of my own large event that I hosted in April, followed by traveling and speaking to another large event, and then multiple smaller events. Right off of that, I had about 6 weeks straight of intensity, showing up, speaking, pouring into others, to the point where my energy was just depleted and I was feeling it physically. So I've been dealing with an elbow injury that I am convinced was just solely stress related. because my nervous system could not handle all of these things. I wasn't giving myself proper recovery. I didn't give myself the space on my calendar to be able to come down after all of these big, huge events that were so fun and so exciting. But we all know that when we have things like that, we actually tend to crash afterwards if we don't have enough recovery built in. So this run where I pushed myself so hard at the end, I probably didn't need to do that. I could have just kept that steady pace instead of pushing myself so hard, which many of us do that. We push ourselves to burnout kind of right when we are about to hit that next level. And then once we push ourselves so hard, we also don't give ourselves enough recovery time to come off of that. And the more that I learn about myself, and I've known this most of my life that I have hypermobility, but what I didn't know is hypermobility is actually linked to your nervous system. So when you are taxing your nervous system, your joints are going to feel it, hence the elbow pain, right? So knowing that myself, when I am doing something really hard physically, like running or even strength training, if I am not supporting myself properly, even outside of that training session, my nervous system becomes taxed to the point where I start to feel like I'm not functioning correctly, right? I don't have the same level of nervous system flexibility in the way that most people do. Like, I actually need more recovery than a normal person because I'm hypermobile, which means that I'm really sensitive. My nervous system is sensitive to instability because I have to work extra hard to stabilize my head, my neck, my shoulders, my joints when I'm doing hard things physically. And that's also going to play out in anything that I do, like pushing myself to travel, to get on stages, to speak, to do all of the things that I just did for like 2 months. So it created this reoccurring injury in my forearm. And I firmly believe that when we have pain, when we have an injury or reoccurring pain, especially, it is because something is trying to come out and signal to us that something's off, that we need to reassess. We need to get in tune with ourselves. Because if we don't address the things inside of us, emotionally, spiritually, they will come out physically as some sort of ache or pain or disease or illness or any of those things. So this example of running was just one of saying, oh my gosh, yes, I pushed myself too hard. And because I didn't give myself proper recovery after this run, my nervous system just crashed. I went from endorphins and adrenaline to debilitating migraine in bed. And I think about this example of how often we do this in our life through our work, whether you're a business owner or not, we push ourselves so hard, especially when things are maybe not working out the way that we want. We try to force an outcome. We try to push an outcome through, and then we crash right after because we don't actually give ourselves that space to recover from the hard thing. So with all of that said, June has been a grounding month for me. I've gone back to the thing that I've been talking and teaching and preaching about all year long, which is my rituals, my rhythms, and my regulation, my nervous system regulation that creates the kind of resilience that I need as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as someone doing a lot of different things to be able to continue the journey and not get burned out, and to continue to grow and scale my businesses without burning out, to do it sustainably, because that is at the core of what I preach and teach to my own community. And I have to live and breathe by those things. So this month has been all about like taking more off my schedule. So not doing more, but doing less. Taking more Fridays off with Val, spending more time outside. I have ended my day with outdoor things as much as possible, as long as it's not raining, right? I'm outside in the morning for the sunrise at 5:30 a.m., drinking my hot lemon water, reading my book, journaling. And by 8 p.m., I'm back outside watering my garden and my flowers, which is just like so grounding to me. And maybe sipping some sort of like NA drink. I'm obsessed with Poppy and Olipop. So I'm either drinking something like that or I am, drinking my hot tea, right? But I'm enjoying the bookends of my day, spending that time outside. I'm barefoot in the grass. And I cannot tell you how grounding that has been for me. Having those 2 times of the day where I'm intentionally connecting myself back to myself and back to nature. And I think like, what did I do the rest of the year? Like I get so excited and so just like calm and peaceful in the summer season when I can spend more time outside. I can be in my garden. Oh my gosh, my garden is just like flourishing right now because of all the rain that we've gotten. I can see everything growing and I can connect to outdoors more in the summertime. Like, what have I done the rest of the year? It is insane to me that we survive the rest of the year here in Wisconsin. But those 2 times of day, just being outside, being quiet, listening to the birds chirp, having my feet barefoot in the grass has been so calming and regulating for me. Like I didn't even know how much I missed that and how much I have needed it coming off of such a crazy busy season. Hey, I just needed a quick water break from the podcast, and I want to tell you about what's in my water. It is my new current favorite daily supplement, and I drink it. It's called Glossy, and it is not just a great supplement for hydration and gut health, but it is truly changing my skin in the best way. Glossy is skincare that you drink because it impacts your largest organ and your insides. My favorite flavors are the strawberry hibiscus and the watermelon. I add it to my water every single day. So if you are looking for something that is more than just a hydration stick, Glossy is it. And you can get 40% off your first order with my code getglossy.com/Steph Ross. And you can find that link in the show notes. Cheers. And the other thing I want to talk about is my garden because, as you guys know, I'm obsessed with the metaphor of growing a garden, just like growing anything else, like your business. And it's amazing how when I focus on giving that time to my garden every night to water it, to weed it, to nurture it, to just watch it grow, how at peace I am knowing that there will be a harvest. And I think we could all take that into our business because sometimes we don't see the growth. And sometimes we have droughts, right? Like so many of us, just like I started this podcast episode, so many of us are in a drought. We're in a lull season right now. But we can feel the momentum. We can feel the energy building. We've been feeling it for the last couple months or maybe since the year started. And it's like we're holding our breath. Like, when is it going to be the time that everything just starts to click and everything just starts to burst and grow? And I'm here to tell you through this episode that it's coming. It's coming because I've lived through so many seasons like this. And it is so hard to not get impatient. It's so hard to not be frustrated by the lack of timing. We have our own timeline in our head of how we want things to go. And when we want to move projects along and have money coming in and spend money on certain things, and all of those things are great planning and strategy. But this is exactly what I teach in my book. We cannot plan for the storms. We also can't plan for the droughts. we often don't know when they're going to happen. They are unforeseen challenges. And sometimes they're completely outside of our control. So many that I've talked to you are like, I'm in a lull season, I'm in a drought because no one's getting back to me. No one's telling me when we're moving this project forward. Like, I'm literally not getting the communication that I need. Or maybe it's just like, feels like not the right timing. Like you keep getting no's. This is my reminder that you're still growing even in this season. Even in the storm, even in the drought, you're still growing. Keep watering, keep weeding, keep nurturing all of the relationships and the projects and the ideas and the things that you feel that momentum on, because there is a harvest season on the other side of whatever storm you're walking through right now. And I can tell you that because I've experienced it for myself over and over and over and over again, but it doesn't make it any easier. I really wish it did. But I can guarantee this is where the trust, the belief, and the surrender, as my friend Emmeline says, is so important. We have to be willing to trust that the harvest season is coming, that we've planted the right seeds, that we've watered and nurtured. So we've done those things. We've kept our side of the street clean. We have to believe in what's possible, even if we can't see the growth yet, that it's coming, and we have to surrender the rest. Because at the end of the day, we can't control the weather. So when we're thinking about our garden, we're thinking about that metaphor, we also can't control everyone else's decisions outside of our own. Our clients, our partners, our people, we can't control them. We can only control ourselves. So continue to focus on the activities that fill up your cup, that nourish your soul, that light you up in your business. And I guarantee that next level is so close. You are so close to it. And the more that we step out of the frustration and out of the forcing, the more we have fun, the more we will be in alignment, and we will have the right energy to attract that next level of abundance. I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it here, but your abundance is in escrow. It's coming. It's pending. But we just can't force it. And we don't know exactly when that abundance is going to hit our account. But know and trust that if you keep showing up, you keep doing the watering, you keep doing the weeding, you keep taking care of your side of the street, taking care of your garden, nurturing your garden, you will experience that harvest. Control what you can control and surrender the rest. You got this, sis, and I am always cheering for you. I'd love to know how this episode resonates. Hopefully me just kind of sharing my own experiences of what I'm working through and where I'm at reminds you that you are never alone. Hey sis, if this episode spoke to you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our weekly conversations that drop every Monday. And would you share this with a fellow sister that needs to hear this message too? If you're craving sisterhood, soul, and strategy in action, I'd love for you to step inside our Sister Circle community, where we gather, grow, and build intentional businesses together in real life and real time. I promise, business is more fun in sisterhood. Until next time, keep leading with soul, honoring your season, and don't forget, I'm always cheering for you.